Pentos has massive high walls and is dotted with many square brick towers. City, as it was rumored, existed even before the coming of the Valyrians to those lands. It is also told that rulers of the city submitted to dragon lords and binded themselves to the freehold by a series of political marriages. However, most accounts on that matter appeared after the fall of the freehold, at the time when Volantis rose to conquer other daughters of Valyria, so notions of an independent Pentos with origins distinct from Valyria are considered unreliable. Such accounts were politically convenient, especially those written by Pentoshi. Other sources speak of a foundation of the city by Valyrians as a trading outpost, and its quick growth through absorption of the surrounding lands, including almost all of the ancient Andalos. According to this theory, the first Pentoshi were not bound to any of the wealthy families of the freehold, thus were more willing to breed with the original inhabitants of those lands, Andals mostly. Whatever the truth, Pentoshi hold to customs very different from those of the Seven Kingdoms, despite both being populated by the descendants of the Andals at large. During the days of Valyrian freehold, Pentos was ruled by a prince, chosen from amongst the adult males of the 40 families of great wealth, high birth, and strong sorcerous ability, those Valyrian families which controlled and rode dragons in battle. Targaryens were one of those families. Once chosen, the Prince of Pentos ruled for life, and when one prince died, another was chosen by the city's magisters, almost always from a different family. Through time, after the doom of Valyria, magisters acquired enough power to choose prince from amongst local noble families, and unknown conditions. Prince's power became largely nominal, and his duties almost entirely ceremonial. It is believed that the prince supposedly holds the powers of trade, justice, and war, and on every new year he must deflower the maid of the field and the maid of the sea to bring good fortune to the city. However, should a crop fail or a war be lost, the magisters slit the prince's throat and choose another. This ancient ritual supposedly arose from the mysterious origins of pre-Valyrian Pentos, if Pentoshi historians are to be believed on that matter. New prince then continues his predecessor's routine, presides over feasts and balls, carried from place to place in a rich palanquin with a handsome guard. Given the risks, not all the nobles of Pentos are eager to be chosen to wear the city's crown. Indeed, some have been known to refuse this honor. For instance, in year 262 after conquest, one candidate, who was then 23 years old, was chosen by the magisters of Pentos to be their new prince, mere hours after they had beheaded the previous one. Instead of accepting their offer and be their disposable puppet, he fled to the disputed lands and never returned to Pentos, taking up the life of a sellsword. Over the years he rode with the free companies of Second Sons, the Iron Shields, and the Maiden's Men. Around year 270 after conquest, along with 5 brothers in arms, he established the Windblown Company. He is known as the Tattered Prince. Pentos is a large port city, and the nearest of the 3 cities to King's Landing, so trading ships pass back and forth between the 2 cities on an almost daily basis. Pentos' economy is based mostly on trade and commerce of products such as cheese, so Pentoshi traders like Magister Illyrio Mopatis are often referred to as cheesemongers. Pentoshi traders use their wealth to pay tribute to the Dothraki to avoid being sacked by the nomadic people. Actually, Pentoshi are even pleased to have Dothraki Khalasar in vicinity. Khal Drogo's manse is located just outside the city, for example. Thus it came to be because of the city's loss in 4 out of 6 wars with Bravos during the last 2 centuries. Those wars were fought over slavery and control of the lands and waters between the 2 cities. 4 princes were elected and sacrificed within a year during the last war, which ended in year 209 after conquest. After achieving a victory rumored to have been purchased through bribery, the 5th prince of Pentos within a year, and as we can suppose, the richest and wisest of them all, Nevio Naratis, fearing for his life, convinced the magisters to sue for peace. Bravos forced Pentos to abolish slavery and withdraw from the slave trade. Bravos has since limited the Pentoshi warships to no more than 20 and set limitations to its ground forces as well. Pentos is not allowed to have an army of its own. City guards is the only force Pentoshi are allowed to have, so as they are strictly forbidden to hire sellswords as well. Thus, since paying tributes to the Fraki does not fall to any of the accords with Bravos, Pentoshi are happy to pay them as long as they keep visiting City from time to time, reminding Bravos there are other forces around. Officially, slavery was abolished in Pentos and City was forced to withdraw from the slave trade. However, Pentoshi ships are known to display Lycene or Mirish banners up their masts in order to evade the prohibition, whilst in the city itself there are tens of thousands of free bond servants, slaves in all but name, for they are collared and branded. In law, these bond servants are free people, with the right to refuse service as they will. Almost all of them are, however, in debt to their employers, since the value of their labor is less than the cost of the food, clothing, and shelter provided them, so that their debt to their employers only grows over time. One of such employers is Magister Illyrio Mopatis, dealer in spices, gemstones, dragonbone, and unofficially, slaves and other things. He is tall and obese, though despite that he can walk lightly like a bravo, a swordsman who uses slender swords and practices water dance. Oddly enough, he truly was a bravo in his youth. More so, he was a muscular and exceptionally handsome sellsword during his youth. After the young Varys arrived in Pentos, they formed an unlikely friendship and worked together and became very rich. Illyrio grew very respectable and married the maiden daughter of a cousin of the Prince of Pentos. After she died, he remarried at least once, to Sarah, a Lycene pillowhouse worker. This infuriated the prince, who barred the palace to Illyrio forever after. Illyrio was happy with Sarah until the treasure, a Bravosi trading galley carrying the plague, anchored in Pentos. Through the rats, the plague left the ship and killed 2,000 in the city, among them Sarah. He still keeps a locket with Sarah's picture as a reminder of his lost love. At some point, Illyrio took Viserys and Daenerys Targaryen into his manse, keeping them under his protection. At first, he had thoughts of eliminating Viserys and claiming Daenerys as a wife, but dismissed this idea soon, as he believed the girl too timid and frightened, and that coupling with her would give him no pleasure. Instead, he developed a plan to please Khal Drogo and perhaps later secure a position of Master of Coin in King's Landing for himself, in case Targaryens regained their position. In conclusion, even though Pentos has massive high walls, it is often regarded as the most vulnerable of the free cities. Rulers of Pentos have taken in consideration their position of power, or rather, the lack of it, and thus adjusted their methods accordingly. They operate in shadows, hiding their true nature, and they wait. Thank you for watching. See ya.